Hi kids, my name is Mark, and my friends at the Learning Farm have told me that you're learning about wind and air and wind turbines and weather. Well, I'm here today to talk about another side of the science of air and wind, and that is how birds use air and wind to fly. So how do birds fly? Well, the simple answer is that they use their wings to make air push them up and push them forward. But what does that mean exactly? How does that work? Well, the first thing we need to talk about is something called lift. Here's a picture of a bird wing looking at it from the side. You see how it's curved on top and flatter on the bottom. Well, when air flows over the wing, it flows faster over the longer top part of the wing, and the air molecules spread out, creating something called lower pressure. When air flows on the bottom side of the wing, though, the flatter, shorter part of the wing, then the air flows slower and the air molecules are more crowded together. So the air pushes the wing more strongly from the bottom than from the top, or if we want to talk like scientists, the air pressure underneath the wing is higher than the air pressure on top of the wing. And a stronger push from the bottom, stronger pressure from the bottom means that overall the wing gets pushed up. The name of this upward push is lift, and lift is what makes birds fly up. And by the way, that's pretty much the same way that air lifts airplanes and air pushes wind turbine blades. Birds also need to fly forward, though, and to get that air flowing over their wings and also just to get where they need to go. So how do birds fly forward? The answer is that they flap their wings. When they flap, they tilt their wings, and the airflow and the push of air pressure on the bottom side of the wing is pretty much the same as before, except now the tilt means that the wing gets a forward push, which we call thrust, as well as that upward push, which we call lift. And so that is how birds fly forward, by tilting their wings when they flap and getting a push from the air forward and up at the same time. So it's great to get an upward push and a forward push from the air, but at the same time, we are all getting pulled down by gravity. Gravity is the force that makes things fall to Earth. And as you know, gravity works more strongly on heavier things. So another important reason that birds can fly is that their body parts are mostly very light, especially feathers and hollow bones and air pouches. Those parts are basically mostly empty space with just air inside. And so being light means that they don't have to fight so much gravity. And when birds make lift, that means that the lift pushing up is more than the gravity pulling down. That's another reason birds can fly. And it's another reason why, this hippopotamus cannot fly, because it can't generate any lift, and its gravity is so much that it'll never get enough lift to get off the ground. Oh well. So there's another thing that makes it harder to fly, something called drag. Drag is the push of air against you when you're flying, or you can even feel the air pushing against you when you're running. And if too much drag slows you down, then it's hard to move forward, and it's hard to get enough airflow to make lift. So another reason that birds can fly is that they're really good at reducing drag. They have a smooth shape that slips right through the air. You see here, we have 3 different birds, all with a very smooth shape. The bill is like a point, it cuts right through the air, and the air just slips right over their smooth, curved bodies. And sometimes birds even work together to reduce drag. Maybe you've seen geese flying in a V shape in the sky. They do that to reduce drag. They do that because behind the leader has drag, flies into the air, but behind the leader, all the air is easier to fly through. And so they switch off, and by working together, they make it less hard work for everybody. So finally, there are a couple more reasons a couple more ways that birds use air to fly, air and wind to fly. On a sunny day, the sun warms up the ground, and the air next to the ground gets warm too, and warm air rises. So then birds can get lift from the rising warm air. And on days like that, you can see birds like this vulture or this red-tailed hawk rising up and circling in the sky without even needing to flap, because they get their lift from the rising air. Also, birds like to get pushed by the wind, especially when they have to migrate long distances. So when a bird is flying north in the spring, it waits for the right weather with winds from the south pushing them to the north. And when they fly south in the fall, they also wait for winds from the north to push them to the south. So before I gave you a simple answer about how birds fly, we can ask that question again and give you a fuller, better answer now. Lift pushes birds up, and air flowing over their curved wings makes lift. Thrust pushes birds forward, and air flowing over their flapping wings makes thrust and lift at the same time. Gravity pulls birds down, but birds have very light bodies with hollow bones and feathers and air pouches, which means that they don't have to fight gravity as much. And drag slows down their forward motion, but they have smooth shapes that mean less drag. And finally, rising air and winds help birds to fly with less work. So, air, flowing air, and the wings of birds, their shape and their flapping, and their light, smooth bodies, that's what makes birds fly. And that is amazing, isn't it? So, I hope you can think about these things the next time you go outside and the next time you watch birds flying. Good luck. Okay, thanks for watching.